up, everybody? Welcome to Breaking the Fourth Wall, the show where everything's made up and our opinions don't matter. Let me introduce you to our contestants tonight. First and foremost, making his triumphant return to the panel of Fourth Wall, Mr. Star Wars Canon Library himself, Brian Miller.
How you guys doing? Great to be back, man.
Welcome back, buddy.
Oh, thank you guys. I missed you too.
Our resident author, fantasy expert, and all-around good elf with hobbit feet, Christen Stubble.
Hello. I do not have hobbit feet.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Our herb expert, who in his own right would be like California and Denver mixed together, otherwise known as the Super Bowl, Matt Cruz.
Yeah! I'll take that compliment any day of the week.
The only thing greater than the Philadelphia Eagles to this man is a good Philadelphia hoagie or cheesesteak, Mr. Eric Batista.
You.
And, of course, our tech girl without whom this show would still exist, but we give her credit anyway, Christina Talley.
How y'all doing?
And there are copious amounts of shade getting thrown already.
Yeah, there are.
Hey, with what was thrown at me before the camera went on, I get my revenge when it comes back.
I blame the Furbies.
Hey, you know something? When I'm doing the countdown to start recording, you don't start talking.
I do what I want.
No, then I'm going to tell you exactly what I told you then. So
I'm 13 years old. I do what I want.
Don't make me come over there and spank you.
Grape smuggling.
Well, first and foremost,
I'll give you a wedgie in your banana hammock.
We might as well talk about the breaking news right off the bat here. We have actor from Star Wars Episode 1, Jake Lloyd, who was also known... Was he known for anything else? Oh, Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the
Way. Yeah.
I don't think he was in anything else. But, yeah, actor Jake Lloyd, after spending 10 months in jail for a high-speed pursuit through 2 counties with police, is being transferred to a psychiatric ward to deal with his schizophrenia. Guys, this is important news in South Carolina. Do we care?
I didn't think episode 1 was that traumatic.
I don't know. You remember how bad the acting was? Jar Jar's pretty traumatic himself.
Richard Armitage was in episode 1. Played Thorin in the Hobbit trilogy. He was in episode 1. He was one of the guardsmen pilots.
Huh.
I had to find a way to get the Hobbit in there.
There you go.
She did it, ladies and gentlemen. She did it.
Thank you.
That's why she's our fantasy expert, right?
Well, I know schizophrenia is one of those types of diseases where it can manifest from bad trauma or it's something you're born with. Let's be honest. Jake has been very vocal previously that Star Wars has ruined his life. You know, of course, he blames the franchise and not the fact that he's just a really shitty actor. And
there's one for Chris.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. I defend the prequels. I'm one of the people that do defend the prequels, but the kid can't act.
No.
He never could act.
Yeah.
And, you know, should the fan base have really dug into him as much as they did? Probably not. He's a kid.
Yeah.
But at the same indifference, dude, if you're a horrible actor, don't blame the franchise.
Well, and let's be honest, Hollywood isn't exactly known for bringing these child stars up to be really rational, happy, healthy human beings.
Macaulay Culkin isn't wholesome?
It took him a while to come back around. He's starting to fix himself. He's starting to finally fix
Who,
himself.
Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the web episode he did for the Uber drivers, where he was the Uber driver, but he played as Kevin from Home Alone?
Oh.
Yes.
I did not.
Yes.
Oh, you have to look it up. It's hysterical because he has definite PTSD, and he tears this dude up. And they had the Daniel Stern one as well afterwards.
Hey, Macaulay Culkin's doing something right. Yeah, he's doing something right. He landed Mila Kunis as a wife, so, I mean, even if it was for just a little while, he's doing something right.
Whoa, wait a minute. Last time I saw a picture of Macaulay Culkin when he was standing outside smoking a cigarette with his long hair and everything else, he looked like he was auditioning for the reboot of The Crypt Keeper.
Oh, yeah, or The Devil's Rejects.
Oh, that's very apt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really on a bad situation, but he supposedly pulled himself back together. He's doing all this healthy stuff now. So
Well, that's common to child
pulled himself
actors.
together and fallen apart and pulled himself together a couple times now?
Yeah.
who knows?
That's kind of what addicts do.
But that's kind of the problem with child actors, though. If you think about it, a lot of child actors, they fall apart. I mean, your list is infinite if you think about it. Like all these child actors, they get their break, they get some sort of popularity, and then they can't handle it because they're not equipped to handle it, and they come apart every time. I mean,
I think Ron Howard's the only one that really had a decent career all the way through.
Although Elijah Wood seems to be holding up pretty well. He did the stupid thing though, where he tried to do roles that were completely opposite of like fantasy and everything, and then pissed off a lot of the fantasy fans. Mm-hmm. Which, let's be honest, Lord of the Rings got him back into Hollywood once he was an adult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, let's be fair too. And using Macaulay Culkin and Miley Cyrus both as perfect examples of, granted in two different spectrums, was a lot of their childhood experiences within Hollywood were destroyed by their parents. Mm-hmm. Like, the reason Macaulay Culkin was so messed up was because his parents ripped him off. They basically slaved him out to the Hollywood scene. Miley Cyrus, I mean, Billy Ray kind of used Hannah Montana to keep a career. Yeah. Because nobody gave two craps about Billy Ray.
Yeah.
You know?
And what's his name from Terminator?
Off Miley's mind frame.
And what's Edward Furlong is another one. I mean, he's still a wreck.
Yeah, Edward Furlong's another one. But I mean, the only one, and not even Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd, his biggest problem is he paid way too much attention to the trolls. Mm-hmm. You know, which we perform on the internet. We're used to trolls. For every we're gonna get one dude is just gonna be an asshole.
You just have to ignore the negative stuff.
But when you're 9 years old, though, you're hitting that point of your life where you want nothing more than to fit in.
Right.
You know, and it's right at that point where he's starting to figure out who he's going to be. And then when everybody starts giving him all this crap, about something that really wasn't even his fault. It was more George Lucas than anything between the writing and the directing, and he's going to catch on to it. He's going to want to know, I wonder what they thought.
He's looking for that approval.
Yeah,
no, I get that. Of course, he's school age, so he goes to school. Everybody sees episode 1, and probably teased him forever. Yeah. As a guy who grew up with a stepfather, whose mom got married to my stepfather for a couple years until they got divorced, and wound up with the adopted name Rambo during the time that Rambo: First Blood Part 2 came out. I can sympathize about bullying. I could definitely sympathize about it, but. At the same indifference, man, as an adult, you got to realize childish games is childish games, and people are going to be mean.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you got to let it roll off your back.
I mean, it's too bad he couldn't.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it's too bad he couldn't do that. I mean, the reality is, like, all of us could think, like, if somebody made fun of us for a role like that, we just turn and guess, I was on I acted in Star Wars, did you?
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly it. It's like, just remember, my character may have sucked in episode 1, but let's remember who he becomes.
Yeah.
Right.
At least I was in episode 1.
Yeah. What movie were you in? Oh, that's it. I guess you need to shut up.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. You want to piss off all the little teeny boppers during his age? He could just turn around and be like, hey, remember, at least my scenes weren't cut out of the Star Wars prequels, like In Sync.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm glad that decision was made.
Damn, you're just vicious today, Chris. What's up with that?
Man.
Oh, look, the only child star that deserves every bit of hate that he gets is Justin Bieber.
Oh. Why would you even say that name on this podcast?
Why?
Like, really?
Because I want to pick on him. I'm in that mood. As Christina just said, I'm in that mood. Let's talk about
I said you're being
Bieber.
vicious. I didn't say you're in that mood.
Okay, nobody cares. Nobody gives a crap about Justin Bieber. Like, nobody cares.
People still do. He has a career.
Oh.
Not really. I think he's just on life support from Usher still.
Did you see the upbringing on Justin Bieber right now about Spotify? Spotify was marketing him for his new song Ep22 or some crap like that where he does a Latin song.
Oh,
and
God.
they were calling him the new king of Latin.
Oh, get the hell out of here with that crap. Oh no, you're about to set me off, man.
Go ahead, go off. Do it.
Hold on.
Like every other, he did one Latin song, and now he's being labeled the king of Latin.
Yeah, okay. You just hit.
Finish the article. Let me finish the article.
Okay.
Because Matt's about to do what every other Latin American or worldwide Latin has done.
I know. I can see that vein bulging in his head.
I see the pulsing.
I see smoke.
I'm bracing for impact.
Hulk smash.
A massive dump. You look like you're about to take a Justin Bieber. But here's the thing: Spotify was forced to take that down because of the backlash from the Latin community that was pissed about it, and especially because this dumbass kid who has made his single that everybody loves can't even perform it live. He has been booed off stage by his fan base because he turns around and tells them, "I can't speak Spanish. I can't do the song." He doesn't even remember the words of the song that he supposedly wrote.
Matt's growling.
He's gonna go Hulk.
Bring it on, bud.
Bring it. Do it. Unleash the beast.
Little freaking prepubescent little hunk of crap does not have any damn talent whatsoever. If he had no looks whatsoever, that little punk-ass little twat would have no goddamn career, and he should shut the hell up and be thankful that Usher even found his little abandoned ass somewhere in a goddamn mall, or else Kids Gap would have a new goddamn fucking cashier, and he should shut the hell up and be thankful of those teeny boppers out there willing to spend $18 on his crappy ass music, and be thankful instead of being a whiny little twat about every little freaking thing, and shut the hell up. Latin star, you're about as Latin as freaking. Oh! Taco Bell has more Spanish than him. They do. Okay, this isn't even. I haven't even begun. Okay. You little twat. You should be thankful for every freaking little teeny bopper out there buying your crappy ass goddamn music, because you suck in so goddamn many ways. Voice tastes like bad fucking milk, and everybody knows it. Shut the hell up. Go back to Canada. Go in a cave and hide out till you grow a beard, you little bastard. Shut up. You're gonna be a has-been doing more tours for the rest of your damn life, and get over yourself. Latin star, you're not even a freaking American star. You're lucky Canada even wants you back.
Let the hate flow through you.
Good.
Matt, just to clear something up for you, Justin Bieber's from Canada. Justin Timberlake is from Tennessee.
Whatever.
Hey, Christina, that little bet on who would really get him to go off, I win.
Oh, it's not over yet. It's not over yet.
Oh no, I just needed a drink.
It's not over yet. Trust me, he's not done. He's not done. Trust me, he's not done.
Well, we'll let the circle be complete. Take a breath, because I don't want you to have an aneurysm. Eric, our other Latin descent person, how does it make you feel to know that Justin Bieber, who wrote one song that he can't even remember the words to, is the new king of Latin music?
Get the hell out of here. Look, bullshit, all right? I'm just going to put this out there. First off, he's not Latin, okay? He's Canadian. Okay, you want to talk about Latin artists? I'm just going to give you two. Mark Anthony, okay?
Yes.
All right, Ricky Martin. He's another Latin singer.
Enrique Iglesias?
Yeah, well, yeah, he has a famous father.
Selena. Deceased, but still counts.
Yeah, she does.
Jennifer Lopez.
She don't.
The singer from Miami Sound Machine.
Gloria Estefan.
Yeah.
Gloria Estefan.
Well, how about even Pitbull? Pitbull is still Puerto Rican.
There you go.
He's actually, I think he's Cuban.
Oh, yeah, he is Cuban. You're right. But
Cuban.
still, it's still Latino.
Well,
I'm with Eric.
See Justin Bieber. If you want to be a talentless Latino, be like Pitbull.
Actually, no, I like Pitbull. So I think that's a little harsh.
You would. I'm sorry. There's nothing about him entertaining.
Okay.
Anyway, your rant, Eric.
Let's see if you can beat Matt.
Matt is patiently waiting for part 2. So
he's recharging.
Epic rant battles of Fourth Wall.
Yes, epic rant battles.
Breaking the Fourth Wall fans, we will get to the news in segment 2 after Matt goes back into it.
And first off, I did hear about it, and I was totally disappointed. Okay, if you're going to make any kind of song, whether any native language, okay, and you're asked to perform it, and you can't remember the lyrics, who did you sit down and write the song with?
It's very simple. Somebody else wrote the song for him,
and then he's going to try to sing it. And then, that's insulting.
How about it could be Google Translate?
Well, that's the thing. He performed it once before, and they made fun of him because he didn't even get the lyrics right. He just made stuff up that as it went along, like burrito, burrito. I mean, he was just making stuff up. This time, he doesn't even do it anymore.
But I take offense to that. If you can't speak the language, understandably, some of us can't. But if you can't speak it or sing it, however, okay. Don't even make it, because that's what sells. He's insulting the Latin heritage. That's all I gotta say. I can't even talk about him.
You know something? I will say this: we have a breaking the wall first. We actually got Matt growling like a freaking pissed off wolf.
Well, Christina, why don't you go ahead and move us along? We'll finish out this panel before I let Matt go back off for part 2. I'm letting him simmer. It's like a good chili.
There we go. Yeah, part 2. Part 2 will be epic rant battles.
Yes.
He's a teapot getting ready to blow.
That's it.
Breathe, Matt. Breathe.
I'm picturing you over there, just sort of like this.
Oh yeah.
Planning.
Mr. Smithers, release the hounds.
You're way too good at that.
Christina, as insulting as Justin Bieber is to his fan base, left and right, how does this boy even have a career?
Boy, what?
Because you know why? The problem is the whole music industry. There is the issue right there. The issue is, okay, they go, we can sell this person. It doesn't matter if they have talent or not. It all comes down to, hey, we can sell the crap out of this person, so let's sell them. Oh, yeah, we found this person on YouTube. Perfect story. Let's do it. And that's exactly what happens every single time. They go, oh, yeah, we can push this and push this and push this. And the fact is, the songs that become hits are manufactured and pushed in your faces to become hits. There's a lot of music out there which is a lot better than the crap that gets plays on the radio on a daily basis. Yet you'll never hear it. You'll never hear these artists because the industry says, oh, we can make money off of this person. Because of marketability. Exactly.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm a big advocate for Metallica, but I would happily spend $5 on a cover at a bar to hear an original band than to spend $200 to go see Metallica. Because 9 times out of 10, I'll get a better show, and it's just nice to see something before it becomes famous and
right.
destroyed by the music industry.
Well, right there's another issue too. You just brought up $200 for a concert ticket. That's ridiculous. That's what some people make in half a week. Some people make that in a week. You know, okay, you got these super fans who will pay $200-$300. I remember back in 2014, I did security work for Firefly, which is Matt knows what it is, but it's this giant music festival they have in Dover. And I was in charge of guarding the super VIP box. Essentially, I checked wristbands all day. And those tickets were $1,000 a day. Most people don't make $1,000 in 2 weeks, but these things were $1,000 a day. Just to get into a special little section where you can get back massages and stuff like that. I mean, it's ridiculous anymore.
Speaking of that,
I'm about to go off on a rant right now. So yes, let's switch it, please.
I'll let you do that because I'll give you fuel, and it's gonna fuel Matt even more. There was this one time where Justin Bieber had done this thing where you could for $50,000. You buy a ticket for $50,000. You can go see him, and then an after show with DJ Marshmello, and then it would it was somewhere in California, and they put you up in a hotel, a very expensive hotel, which
I like DJ Marshmello.
Well, here let me finish what the whole entire package was. Justin Bieber fans could spend $50,000 to go see him perform poolside at this hotel for about a half an hour. They stayed at the hotel. They got like a little shopping bag from one of the jewelry stores or something like that for a couple $1,000, like a gift certificate or something. They got to afterwards watch DJ Marshmello, and then they got to meet DJ Marshmello, and that was it.
You didn't even get to meet Bieber?
$50,000.
So Bieber fans couldn't even meet the person they were paying $50,000 to. Am I getting that right?
Mm-hmm. All they got to do was have a meet and greet with the opening act.
That is okay. This is the issue.
Book him yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you know something. This little twerp muffin. Okay, for starters.
Oh, here we go again.
That's the show's name. What was that?
Yes, that's fantastic.
Little twerp muffin. That little twerp muffin. Yeah, but seriously, that little twerp muffin. Okay, he's too goddamn big for his britches. Straight, plain and simple. You know something. That's the problem. He went from nothing to instant success, like overnight success, and he has no goddamn humility to save his fucking life. Okay, so he has nothing. He is
Canadian bacon. There's the show's name. Twerp waffle and Canadian bacon.
Twerp waffle.
He's their skinned.
Twerp muffin. Was what he said.
Muffin.
I'm playing off a twat waffle, but trying to be nice for YouTube.
Twat muffin works.
I like the originality of Twerp muffin better.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, I mean the thing is, okay, he's so big for his britches. He like when he comes down, he's gonna come down hard, and you know something. There's gonna be a lot of people applauding when that guy crashes and burns like the goddamn Hindenburg. And that's the one thing I hope to God everyone sees in the near future is him crash and burn. Yeah, let's see him go in a drunk bender, crash his Lambo into a freaking cop car, into a school bus. It's not like I wish harm on any kids, but I think he needs that kind of humility right about now in his life to get him back down to earth. And maybe he realizes that he's a complete loser.
Go ahead.
I gotta say, I'm starting to look at everybody on this panel in a different light in the last few minutes. I mean, it's getting to be a little
scary.
Scary,
Rage.
Yeah, a little bit.
All of a sudden he's thinking about leaving Rumble the Myth.
He's just gonna drop out of the call.
Well, here's the thing too.
I mean, the listeners on Radiocast, it's just gonna be beep, word, beep, beep. Justin Bieber, beep.
Let's try to get this a little back on track here.
Well, actually, I will say one thing before we continue on. I mean, part of my disdain and hatred for Justin Bieber comes to the fact I was a musician, just like Chris was a musician. You know, we've paid our dues more than 10 times over. We've we've loaded all of our equipment into our into the war wagon, which was a car my dad gave me. It was a 1977 Mercury Cougar Villager, and this thing was like hell on wheels. It was a boat. It sucked gas it passed anything but a gas station. It looked like hell. But you know something that got us there. So yeah, we rode. I mean, I remember riding for hours to go play a not even a 45-minute show. It was like a 20-minute show. You know, to drive and come back the next day. You know, and to make what, $20, which we pretty much drank in freaking beer when we were there, and it still owed money afterwards. I mean, seriously. I mean, we've paid our dues in the music industry, just like many musicians have, and we never made anything of it. We did it because we love it. We're not, and so when you see somebody like this who gets everything handed to you, who doesn't deserve it, it infuriates me. Yeah. Just like I'm sure it infuriates Chris as well. So I apologize if we've actually traumatized you, Brian, but we have good reasons behind it.
No, I've seen Star Wars Episode 2. You guys can't traumatize me any worse than that.
Well, let me put it to you this way, and it's gonna segue into Christen here. Christina's right. I mean, we paid our dues, and it wasn't just the hauling of equipment and performing for $20. You know, in the dive bars and the smoky lounges. We put in the work. We wrote the songs. You know, it was part of our heart and soul. Nobody wrote my lyrics for me as a front man. I wrote my story.
Except for that one song I wrote. Tales.
Well, yeah. In the bands, of course, it was a collaboration, but I mean, it was something from my heart and my soul. It meant something to me. It wasn't somebody handed me a piece of paper and said, "Here, sing this."
It was art.
What I mean? Right.
It was your creation.
How does it make you feel, Christen, as a writer? Granted, maybe not a songwriter, but as a writer, a published writer,
as an artist,
you put in the blood, sweat, and tears for your first 2 books. You're putting in the blood, sweat, and tears for your 3rd book now,
and 4th.
And little jerks like this get famous on YouTube who's never written a line of anything in his life.
It's completely aggravating. In fact, I know, other authors who, I don't know how they do it, but they suddenly have they're working on getting their movies. I mean, their books made into movies, and a lot of times they're crowdfunded movies, but then they're going around and throwing that out there, and and they don't even hire editors. Their stuff is a mess, and it's really aggravating. It's incredibly aggravating, but it's cheap and easy to market, I guess.
Just like Justin Bieber, cheap and easy. Well, Brian, come to the dark side.
Oh,
Let's hear how you feel about the Latin sensation Justin Bieber.
Okay, so, all right. Here's the thing. I haven't liked Justin Bieber from day one. I just every time I've ever seen him, everything he's ever done, the attitude he had. The only thing that he was ever on that I liked was Justin Bieber on, and I call him Beaver, not Bieber. He's just hairy little pussy in my book. But anyway,
it's all the pussies everywhere.
Right. So the only thing I ever saw him on that I actually laughed at was Zach Galifianakis' Between Two Ferns. That was the only thing. Because Zach Galifianakis literally takes his belt off and spanks Justin Bieber. And it was freaking awesome. I can't stand that little prepubescent shit. I can't. I hate. God. He doesn't deserve it. Like you guys said, he doesn't deserve a lick of the fame he's got. He doesn't deserve anything he's got. And he's just an ungrateful little twat. That's all there is to it. And the fact that he's trying to superimpose himself into this new culture, new to him.
He's trying to appropriate their culture.
Yeah, exactly. It's just. It's
trying to steal it.
It's disrespectful, and it's just.
Well, see, honestly,
he's seething
I tell you what, at this point, we've already dropped so much F-bombs. I'm going to have to edit this video at this point anyway. So just, Matt, I'm going to regret this. Let it fly.
As soon as everyone's had their piece, I'll have.
You let it fly, unedited. It's fine.
I'll bring it back to you in a second. I'm bringing it back to you in a second. In segment 2, we keep it clean, so that way Christina only has to edit segment 1.
Thank
okay?
you.
Works for
me.
me.
That is the deal. Now, let me say this real quick to Brian. The funniest thing with Justin Bieber I ever saw was the Comedy Central roast of Justin Bieber, because it's the only time it was absolutely true.
Oh, yeah.
Every word spoken was absolutely true.
Best thing I ever saw with Justin Bieber was when Orlando Bloom punched him. That was amazing.
No, seriously, that roast, Martha Stewart roasted his ass. Straight roasted him.
Like a savory sage roast. Beef brisket.
And now for the appropriation of another culture that Justin Bieber, exploiting of another culture that Justin Bieber. Mm-hmm. Justin Bieber is becoming exactly, and I hate to bring in politics, but I have personally hated the term white privilege, but he is the exact epitome of what everybody has been complaining about and pointing the finger to as far as white privilege. It is disgusting that he turns around and propagates anybody from any other culture he is not even a part of. Or doesn't even not even that he's not a part of, but he doesn't even understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Matt.
Oh, here we go.
Part 2.
Go.
All you brother, get it out.
All right, I've been waiting for this.
Unedited. Go.
Here comes Muhammad Ali out of the friggin'.
Let's get ready to rumble.
This little douchebag wants to go around and he's already raped the American culture, trying to conform it to the fucking. The goddamn publishers who freaking own all the goddamn fucking music and tell kids how to fucking live their lives and pre-program them for freaking high school and all the other crap they're trying to make them do to when they become adults. Yes, be a corporate slave. Knock yourself out. Listen, you little asshole. You want to be a little freaking tool in the freaking belt? Stop being a goddamn wrench. Be a fucking artist, not a fucking tool, you little shit. Also, like they said in Epic Rap Battles, you want to be a little white usher? Show them to their seats. Get the fuck out of my way. And that's the light version, you little twat. You want to fucking come see me? Come see me yourself. I'll knock your ass back fucking down 3 times fold. I'll stomp you in the fucking dick, take over your party, and then hang your ass up in the fucking doorway for everyone to beat your ass like a piñata so they can have some fun at your expense like I am right now.
Tell us how
This
you
is
really
going to
feel.
sound so awesome edited.
I'm envisioning just one giant beat for about 15 minutes.
Bring back celebrity.
You feel better now?
Bring back the celebrity death matches. Put
All I
Justin
got to
Bieber.
say, like for rap battles, you want to be a little white usher? Show them to their seats. Because, boy, put the mic down. Step away from the stage. You have no place there. Okay? If it wasn't for your looks, you'd have nothing. Because you have barely the lack of talent. You don't have enough talent. If talent was gunpowder, you wouldn't have enough for a firecracker, dickwad. Okay? You wouldn't have shit. Okay?
I'll be right back.
I've had more talent come out of my ass when I've had diarrhea than with you and shitty ass lyrics and your pathetic attempts to control young teenage prepubescent vagina just because you got nothing better to do.
Keep going, Matt.
See what else?
Matt's going to sleep like a baby tonight.
Oh, you got right I am. Because this is what's wrong with this country. You got dickheads like that fucking running, telling kids how to live, and corporate America freaking pulling the puppet string saying, here's another bag of money, you dumbass. Here's another big bag of money. And when they're done with you, you're going to be the little huss that you've always been. Nothing but a has-been. People, you're going to be, let's put it this way. I hope you get used to the idea of being Hollywood Center Square, buddy, because that's about as good as your talent's ever going to be.
Giving him too much credit there, Matt.
Oh, my God.
Rock.
You know he's going to be? He's going to be Snow.
Oh my God!
He's going to be. There's another example of Canadian white boys taking over, stealing another country's.
At least he had enough good sense to disappear.
True. Well, he is Snow. Nope. They have to melt soon enough.
Oh, burn!
Oh my God!
All right, shall we get into the actual news of the show?
Yes, please. My ass is starting to pucker. Let's get on with this.
I bet your ass may be puckering, but at least it ain't as shafted right now as
Justin Bieber's lawyers.
Let me get that going on something else now, but in a happier way. It has been announced. It has been announced by Fox, or excuse me, Sony, that Venom is as of yet unclear. To clear up the conversation, has been unclear on whether or not he is going to tie into the current Spider-Man universe with Spider-Man: Homecoming. However, they have officially announced Venom's villain for his movie, Carnage.
Yes.
We were just talking about this before I took my break.
Yes.
Nice.
Actually, hold on. I gotta check something because I could have sworn I just saw an article that said it will not be part of the MCU.
1 second, please. Hold on.
There was an article like last week, but this week it's been announced that. Hold on.
Whoa! Wow.
Matt put his mic too close to the.
What happened? Oh, Matt happened?
Yeah,
I mean,
Matt happened.
it sounded like someone was murdering somebody.
He was killing Justin Bieber.
It sounded like he was murdering somebody with like a spoon.
He was killing Justin Bieber. And having said that, we just incriminated. So if Justin Bieber goes missing, we didn't do it. I swear.
Hey, you know what? He's already dead in my book. You guys ever seen Zoolander 2?
Yes.
Ooh.
That's the best part.
That was the only good part of that movie.
Yeah, I got it right here, but yeah, it's not part of the MCU according to this, because the MCU gets Spider-Man. It's still part of Sony's Marvel universe, or SMU.
So it's not connected.
It's apparently, according to this article, this is on Collider. Actually, they're saying it's not connected.
You can trust Collider, yeah.
Yeah, it says the MCU gets Spider-Man, Sony's Marvel universe gets Venom and Black Cat, Silver Sable, Carnage, etc., etc.
Well, see, that's the thing. Most of the news I report I get from Collider, and I know Collider uses the right sources. So when I bring it to the panel, it's something that normally I've gotten from Collider, where I know I could trust they got the right information. But really, I mean, the surprise here isn't so much that Sony's still trying to kind of hold on to the fact that that they want to keep a hold of the Spider-Man franchise, and of course, its subsequent spinoffs. The news here is every sweaty comic book nerd on the planet since the 1990s have been waiting for Venom and Carnage to finally touch base, and now it has been officially announced that is exactly what they're going to get. How does it feel to finally think that we're finally going to get a live action on screen Carnage? And do you think we could trust Sony enough to do it right?
Sony, no. I gotta say, Sony, no. They're going to be too much. They're going to be too busy thinking about the tie-ins than getting the movie right. Sorry. They're going to be thinking about the video game. They're going to be thinking about this. They're going to be thinking about the soundtrack. They're going to be thinking about everything else instead of the storyline. Well, they're going to be like, oh, no, we need to change this. We need to change this. No one will notice. Yeah, we will. Sorry.
The main bullet points, according to Collider, that on there with each, I will just say this. Their main bullet points were this: Sony is focused on making a good standalone movies before getting caught up in shared universes. Spider-Man and the heroes and villains who are associated with him obviously exist as Marvel comic characters, but their cinematic equivalents will appear in separate continuities, at least for the foreseeable future. And so they're trying. It seems like they want to focus on making a good movie for a change, except for we're not going to. I'm going to bring it up. Fantastic Four.
You mean Fan Force?
Actually, Fox has announced that they're doing another, setting up for a reboot of another Fantastic Four.
How many times? Okay, it's like a broken computer. It's like when you got a broken computer. You can reboot it as many times as you want it. It's not going to fire up.
No.
And here's the problem. This is their concept for the Fantastic Four, and of course we're going to get back into Venom or Carnage. That is the point. But with the reboot Fox is talking about now, they figure they'll go more child friendly, and it'll take place. It'll not be a reboot where it's telling an origin story again, but it'll be a continuation of where you've got the Fantastic Four already established together. And Sue Storm and Reed Richards have children, and it'll be from basically the children's standpoint. This is their concept for the new rebooted Fantastic Four.
Wait. I'm with Brian on that one. They've only had one child, Franklin, and he was a more powerful telepath than Charles Xavier. Charles Xavier had to put mental blockers in his own mind so he couldn't get out of control. Maybe I'm too much of a fan base for the comic books, but that's where it all comes from. Stop reinventing it. It's fine the way it is.
Matt, but I thought Jean Grey was more powerful than Xavier.
She is, but Franklin's more powerful than her. But they actually put blockers in him, because he was so powerful even at age 6 and 7 when they started to discover it, because they started noticing things in the Baxter building started floating. Now, having Reed Richards as a father, that's not unlikely, but Reed's like, I haven't experimented on this stuff. Why is it floating? And then they were looking at Franklin, and Franklin just sitting there being quiet, playing with his blocks, and all of a sudden a table starts to rise up, and they're like, uh-oh. Call Charles. And next thing you know, they had a little commission, and everyone was sitting there talking, and they're like, "What are we gonna do?" Well, Charles like, "I hate to do that, put a hindrance on him, but if we don't, watch him now, he's gonna be a much more hectic problem as he gets older." Now, in the far future, he ties into Days of Future's End. Days of Future's Past, sorry. Yeah. He ties into Days of Future's Past because actually it was Shadowcat that was supposed to come back in time. I know I'm kind of bouncing around here. But it's Shadowcat that was supposed to come back, and it was Franklin Richards that sent her back mentally. Not Shadowcat. Also, not a bad idea, but I hate to say it, the only people who got it right so far with the Fantastic Four is Pixar. With The Incredibles. That was as close as you can get. That was actually decent. Because I'm sorry, I like the other two. Rise of the Silver Surfer wasn't bad. The Fantastic Four, it was okay. It was fine the way it was. When they put
the first one, not that stupid ass reboot.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about Fan Four Stick. Fan Four Stick I was just about to get to. Fan Four Stick, did they not believe in lights in that world? Because I've watched parts of it. It's so goddamn dark. I don't know who the hell I'm looking at. I don't know who the hell I'm looking at. I'm like, is that Ben? Is that Johnny? Oh, look, he's on fire. It's got to be Johnny. Oh, wait, when did he become black? Must be the lighting. Anyway, I mean, really, they could do it. But going back to Carnage and Venom, this is a good idea. Keep it rated R, like I said before. Pace it right. It's not hard to do. They did it fine in the comic books. Hell, that's how they make movies, as storyboards. Just go buy some comics, people. It's not hard. They're cheaper. I know they can afford this. This is in the budget.
I think somebody pissed in Matt's Cheerios this morning, man.
It's Ryan.
I think so.
Yeah.
Carnage in the Sony Cinematic Universe for Marvel.
Okay.
Is this finally the time for Topher Grace to redeem himself from Spider-Man 3? Topher Grace as Carnage.
Hell yeah! All right, no, okay, no, not really. Okay. Have they said any word what it's going to be rated?
No. Right now they're still leaning towards a PG-13, but this is definitely a movie that personally I think should be an R.
It's going to have if you're doing Carnage. Okay, so we had the question a few weeks ago I posed to you guys if we wanted him in the MCU or in a standalone R-rated, okay? I know where we all stand on that. Now that we know he's not going to be in the MCU, he's got to be rated R. If you're going to do it, you got to rate this sucker R. You have to freaking do it. The fact that they got Tom Hardy to play Eddie Brock is actually a really good thing. As long as you add good talent, you can't go wrong. Now, at the same time, they did say they want to start focusing on making good standalone films before they start doing a shared universe. I'm all for that. That is a great idea. Sometimes you got to wipe the slate clean, start from the ground up, and go with it. Working with Marvel on this Spider-Man Homecoming thing and bringing Spidey into the MCU, I think Sony is learning a lot as far as storytelling and as far as making a good movie for once. I think they're learning a lot from Marvel. I'm sure there's a lot of knowledge getting passed between Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal. I'm sure there is. So when they say they're going to do this Venom Carnage movie, and it's going to be a standalone thing, that's the best thing you can do for it. Make it if they come out tomorrow and say it's rated R, I've got full faith in this thing.
Christen, were you a follower of the Venom Carnage comics in the 90s?
Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, so I mean I was definitely aware, but I agree with Brian. They need to make it a standalone and they need to make it rated R, and they need to listen to the Marvel. All the advice given, any advice being exchanged, they just need to shut up and listen. It's like I do with my editor. I just shut up and listen. Just do it.
Christina, now that we know that we're going to get a live action Carnage, and obviously there's going to be a lot of CGI, but do we want Carnage to be full CGI, or do we want Carnage to be a guy in a suit just with CGI off of it, i.e., like the best way I could describe it, like Spawn and his cape?
You mean Spawn done right?
Basically.
That would be the whole key, be Spawn done right. I mean, the thing is, when you use a costume, with CGI, sometimes it doesn't work right. It looks fake. Mm-hmm. I mean, even on the new movies, the ones coming out now, when they overuse, I mean, even Disney and all its power in Rogue One, the scenes with Peter Cushing, some of them you can still tell it was CGI. Mm-hmm. While they did an incredible job with it, you can still tell in a couple of scenes that was CGI. The technology's not there to be able to pull a full-on CGI.
Right, because there's a lifelessness.
Exactly. I think they need to do a blend where they could get it, between a costume and CGI. I think that'll be the best way to approach it, personally.
Eric, Carnage, who would you cast?
Ooh.
I'm gonna have to, I think I personally would like Jim Carrey.
No, actually, no. I'm with it.
I mean, I can see that. I just
I'll go with him on that.
Yeah, so will I.
23 and the mask.
Yeah.
Put together, you kind of got Carnage. The waxiness with the psychotic. Yes, I could see that. Eric, good call.
Actually, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense now.
It just wasn't what I was expecting to hear.
Exactly. It caught me off guard.
It threw me, yeah.
And once in a while, Eric drops out a gem.
That definitely came from left field, but that's not a bad choice.
Oh. I
wouldn't have thought of Jim Carrey. I think of the slapstick comedy with him. I think of Jim Carrey, but I forget he does do movies like Cable Guy and stuff of that too.
Right.
So
Cable Guy, ha.
That was psychotic.
Awesome.
I love that movie. Actually,
I
won't
they're
lie.
Fighting in the medieval times restaurant. That is my favorite part.
Yeah, to the battle between Jim and between Kirk and Spock.
I shouldn't have said that. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to get us off topic. That's my fault. That's my fault.
Well, how about guys? We kind of need to take a break. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to take our break. So let real quick, Matt.
Yes.
Can Sony screw this up? And if so, how can they do that? Because basically they have potential powder keg in their hands that either it'll go great or it will completely piss off every comic book fanboy on the planet.
First of all, yes, you have to have a good cast. 2, you've got to hit those plot points. There's certain things that make Carnage. You can't just have a psychotic side. And the same thing with Venom. There's certain things, that seething hatred that Venom both shared and Eddie Brock shared for Spider-Man, you have to emphasize that. That was Eddie Brock's big thing. That's why Venom flipped him so easily. They both had that connection for hatred for Peter Parker. They needed to put him out of the picture. That was their drive. Carnage, he was just literally Carnage. You didn't know what he was going to do from second to second, but Carnage kind of did. But even then, he was like, I just felt like it. And that was Carnage. You have to go that route. You got to have a good script and decent acting. Don't concentrate on your action figures or your merchandise. That will sell it itself because you've got that fan base already. It's already been established. Look at this panel. If I say Spider-Man, everyone knows who that is. If you say Venom, we all know who that is. If you say Carnage, I'm sure most of us know who that is. Being that you're not trying to create a fan base, it's already there. The grass is already green. Put in a few plants to make it attractive, and you're golden. Don't overdo it. Don't pull the sod up. Don't reseed and wait to see what happens. Don't screw up what you got. Use what you have.
Landscaping tips with Matthew Cruz.
Yeah, I know, the Puerto Rican, right?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our quick break for RadioCast FM. I'm telling RadioCast right now, if I hear Justin Bieber in this break, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. I'm going to make sure it happens now.
We'll be right back on RadioCastFM.com.
All right.
Welcome back to Breaking the Fourth Wall. We are the Expeditos of American podcast. We're going to continue on with our news here, but first and foremost, we're happy to announce that Amy Jo is not on Brian's Johnson. But I know how to make Brian Johnson happy.
Oh no!
Star Wars Legacy.
Star Wars.
He just happy danced.
Star Wars. What?
Disney is now releasing their next animation film, animation project for the Star Wars universe, coming next month in July. We're literally a week away. I think it's July 3rd will be the first Disney YouTube episode. Monday. Followed very closely by the end of July is when they're going to bring it to Disney XD. Yeah, I believe it is. So, yeah. Star Wars Legacy, for the people that do not know, that didn't pay attention to Star Wars Celebration or otherwise, is going to be the next project of Dave Filoni, with Rebels ending this coming season, consisting of different canon stories around all the female characters of the Star Wars universe, both the prequels, the originals, and the new saga eras. Guys, are you looking forward to the new snippets and soon to be full episodes of Star Wars Legacy?
Did they change the title of it? Is it Legacy? I thought it was Forces of Destiny.
It was Forces of Destiny.
It might be Forces of Destiny. Maybe I wrote it down wrong.
Okay, I was gonna say I thought it was Forces of Destiny.
Okay, fair enough. Forces of Destiny. Well, Brian, you're besides me, you're kind of and Christina, you're kind of the resident Star Wars geek, and you're definitely the keeper of canon. How you feeling about Forces of Destiny?
I am so over the moon excited for this. It's insane. I know Lucasfilm was really doing this big push now with strong female leads, and I think this is a great way to do it, especially geared towards kids. Because if you look at what Wonder Woman did for a bunch of little girls in the world, and that gives them this badass female character to look up to. This is going to do the same thing, especially if you're doing it on Disney XD. Because, I mean, right now, kids, I mean, if they're not watching the films, if they're too young to really comprehend the films, they're only really watching Rebels, and they've got Hera and Sabine. That's really about it. Something like this is really cool, and especially since they're getting Daisy Ridley to do the voice of Rey, and they're getting Ashley Eckstein back to do Ahsoka, and you know, and these little clips. This is going to be really, really cool, it's going to be a really good way to kind of show what was happening in the in-between sections in the canon. Like I read somewhere there's going to, like, one of the Leia stories is actually going to be on Endor after Wicket finds her, and he's taking her back to the Ewok village, and they come across some things or whatever. But they're like, I guess Hera is supposed to pop up in one of them from Rebels on Endor from Return of the Jedi. So we know she made it through, Rebels and made at least that far. But there's so many things you can do with this to tell the in-between sections that we've never seen before, and to really deepen these female characters. Give little girls role models. It's awesome. I absolutely can't wait to see these and to get my hands on them.
Well, with the cinematic universe, we've already had confirmation that Hera had survived with Rogue One. Right. The announcement of General Syndulla, and of course the Ghost being seen on screen during the space battle.
And Chopper.
Chopper being in the background as well. So we know Chopper and Hera at least make it out of season 5 of Rebels here.
Season 4.
Season 4. Why am I thinking 5? Oh, I know why I'm thinking. I know what I'm thinking 5 because later on we're going to have a little review. Christina.
Oh, I want
to make a quick correction to Brian before you go on. Little girls have had plenty to look up to long before Wonder Woman, although I give 100% credit to Gal Gadot and the Wonder Woman movie. But we had Leia, we had Ripley, we've had a lot of strong female characters. The problem is they weren't as looked upon, focused and needed for a generation as they are now.
Well, see, what I meant was, you got like 5-6-year-old girls now who don't know who Princess Leia is, who don't know who Padme is, who don't know who Rey is, and they're sitting at home all morning with their moms pulling their hair out, trying to get these kids to watch something on TV. And if they're pulling up something with strong female leads in it on Disney XD, these animated shorts, that's awesome. That's a great foundation for these little girls.
Well, and I would like to point out that growing up, in Star Wars, we didn't have a lightsaber wielder. There wasn't a female lightsaber wielder. It wasn't really even until, Rey that we got our female lightsaber wielder.
Yep.
And I grew up wanting to be Luke Skywalker. I didn't want to be Princess Leia. She didn't get to she got a gun sometimes, but Luke got the lightsaber.
Yep.
No, that's absolutely true. I used to think that myself. Until the prequels, there was no female force wielders at all. And the prequels, again, they were secondary characters. So the new trilogy did finally open the door for a main lead female force user. For at least the Star Wars fan base, the female Star Wars fan base, to finally have somebody to say, hey, look, I could be a Jedi too.
Yeah.
And not just, a Jedi in a tube top and tails like what's her face?
The other cool
episode 3.
The other cool thing about this is they're releasing Ayla? Barbie style dolls.
Ayla, yeah.
They're releasing like Barbie style dolls too for this Forces of Destiny thing, and like for the first time in my grown man adulthood life, I'm gonna have to go buy like 6 or 7 Barbies. Like I'm gonna have to.
I feel like that needs to be documented on YouTube.
Yes, that has to be. Yeah, we got to see the purchasing.
Barbie trip.
My Barbie day.
Well, Christen, you guys live close enough. You guys can get together. You could be his camera woman.
Yeah.
And run commentary.
We'll meet up in Wichita and go to Toys R Us. Let's do this.
And the rest of us will show up with our old 1960s and 1970s G.I. Joe figures on a 3-day leave.
Yep.
There you go.
We're gonna find out where Rey's lineage is.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I know what I'm
doing. The Force will be awakening her with her. All right. Yeah, anyway.
Christina and Christen, this is going to be to both of you, as our female panelists. How's it feel to finally have the focus mainstay of a show, especially in the Star Wars universe, focused completely on only the female characters?
I love it. It's think this is something which will really will help bring a whole new generation of girls into loving the Star Wars world for starters, because it'll give them a strong female role that will bring in that's not overly feminized either. Like the biggest issue is right now with a lot of these cartoons for these younger kids, because I have a daughter who's 9, I have a son who's 7. So I've suffered through these cartoons. You know, you have stuff like the Winx Club. You have stuff like that, you know, like where they're very overly feminized. And they're almost teaching these girls that, okay, yeah, so you got to look this way and be this way. Star Wars doesn't do that. Star Wars says, hey, you know something? It teaches more, and that's what we need right now for this new generation. So I think it's something that is right up in the right alley where it's... Because let's be honest, no character in Star Wars is really overly feminized like that. I mean,
except for C-3PO.
Really, Matt? You went there?
Who? Who did he say?
C-3PO. Wow, he went there. Anyway.
Well, see, that was the point I was going to make. Was how's it feel with a lot of the females, especially nowadays, a lot of the female eccentric cartoons and stuff that's making impressions on our children. Our little girls is almost teaching them to be materialistic divas as opposed to strong female personalities.
Oh, they really are. I mean,
Monster High, like Bratz, like the new My Little Pony.
Yeah, like even the Equestria Girls series, like the My Little Pony itself. Okay, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. The series itself is different than, because there is no clothing, there is no stuff like that. It has good principles. I will say that much off the bat. When you get to the Equestria Girls thing, this is where all the problems come in. Because once again, now you have humanoid, I would say. Because they're all different colors. I wouldn't quite call them human.
Yeah.
But once again, you have that certain stereotype they're trying to push this generation into with the short skirts, the boots, like the overly sexualized. I mean, like, that's the problem. A lot of this stuff is overly sexualized, too. I remember my daughter watching a Winx Club. And I'm like, really? Like, because, like, the one had, like, this crop top thing going on. This, like, super short skirt. And I'm like, no.
Right.
No. It's like, there's even, like, you go shopping for these kids. And you go in... you go and try to buy clothing for him. Like, I remember trying to buy my daughter a swimsuit, like, 2 years ago. And, like, there were all these bikinis and everything else. I'm like, I'm not putting my daughter in no damn bikini.
I fought my ex-wife on that stuff because she tries to put my daughter in a bikini. My daughter's 8. She has no business being in a
bikini. That's exactly my point. A lot of these clothes that are out now to have no business. These kids have no business wearing. And that's the problem. Everything's like they're getting taught at a young age, just like, everyone here got taught at a young age, male and female, about, like women were sexualized from a young age. And it's something that needs to stop. And this is something we're getting back on track. That, this new Star Wars series is definitely going to help because, let's say Leia was not sexualized. Really, none of the characters in Star Wars were sexualized.
Metal bikini.
Well, that was when she was enslaved, and she ended up choking the crap out of him, so it was okay.
That was awesome.
Well, let's be fair too. Let's be fair. The metal bikini was kind of Carrie Fisher's fault too, because Carrie kind of complained. The story did come out that Carrie kind of complained to George in Empire and in the New Hope that you couldn't really tell that Leia was a girl. She was always dressed in like uniforms and man clothes, or if she was dressed feminine, it was like long flowing robes as opposed to something, kind of slinky and sexy. So when it came to the slave scene, Lucas said, all right, I'll fix you.
See, that touches on something that I want to talk about, though, because what Christina was saying is where they're not overly feminized, but at the same time, we've also had in the past, like, look at Xena Warrior Princess, where when Hollywood or pop culture did a strong female character, they completely defeminized them. Mm-hmm. Like, you had to be this tough, like, manly, butch, strong girl.
Very butch.
Yeah. But what I'm seeing now is that these women are still strong. They're not overly feminized, but they're not completely masculinized
and
either.
They're still beautiful.
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing.
And that's awesome because I'm not a tomboy. I mean, I'm not a girly girl, but there was always this, growing up and seeing those, I was like, oh, that's cool to see this girl fight, but I'm not like her. I mean, I'm I'm not into all that stuff. I'm not super tough and, you know, unafraid of snakes, which snakes terrify me. You know? But so I'm really enjoying seeing that too, where they can show that a woman can be both strong and feminine without being sexualized.
All right, Matt and Eric, I'm going to flip the coin for you. Forces of Destiny is going to possibly, as long as the stories are good, and of course it's Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni has not gone wrong in the Star Wars universe and animation at all, ever. But do you feel a little left out being guys, and you know, from little boys growing up in the Star Wars universe, where we did have a Luke Skywalker or an Anakin Skywalker, depending on your generation, to look up to now there is more focus on the female-driven main characters. Does Forces of Destiny kind of make you feel a little left out?
Eric, would you like to go first?
Sure, not a problem. Not at all. I mean, it's good to do role reversal. I mean, a lot of years growing up, we've had a lot of male actors. You know, I like to see a change and seeing more female actors taking the lead role. Well, even though it's animation, but still, I'm going to check it out.
All right. I was going to say, well, to coattail Eric, yeah, it's kind of nice to see the pendulum swinging in the other direction for a little bit. We've had all, like you said, we've had all these male leads who are great and they're memorable. We're now getting some more female leads who are great and memorable. Now, I mean, let's not let the pendulum swing too far. Let's start swinging towards the middle and get it right down the middle. Because if they can lead the way, we can actually show a trend. Like you said, the feminization, the over-butching, let's forget that. Let's just focus, like I said, let's focus on the character and see where it leads. That's what we need. We need characters. It doesn't matter if they're man or woman or whatever. Yeah, okay, so the guys are taking a backseat for a little bit. We've had plenty of time to be in the spotlight. Let the ladies have their due. They're part of this universe. They've had their points and posture. I mean, hell, Mon Mothma was one of the ones who started the Rebel Alliance. I mean, a lot of people don't know that unless they've read the books or paid attention to the movies. This is something that was definitely needed. Girls can get rough and tough. Trust me. Coming from the only male on my mother's side of the family, trust me. Girls can throw down, and it's about time. And it's about time that they showed that. You know, yes, they can be feminine. They can be, you know, they can be into the makeup. They can be into the flowy dresses, but they can also pick up a baseball bat and knock your head off your shoulders. And that's what we need. We need the woman who's not afraid to throw a punch, but who's also not afraid to be. I can be submissive for a minute and listen to what you got to say, and if I don't like it, then I'm gonna break your freaking nose.
She's not afraid to throw a punch, but look fabulous while she does it.
Damn right.
Exactly.
Like Rodriguez in Fast and Furious when she punched that Asian dude.
There you go.
Tough or even better example of Rodriguez in Resident Evil.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she still held onto her femininity, but she was wearing that full SWAT gear, so she didn't have that like she wasn't walking around skimpy as hell, and even like. Mila Jovovich in there. Same thing. She had that dress on, but she had that leather jacket over top, pair of like really crunky boots, like almost like motorcycle boots on, and she threw down.
Right.
So I mean, like, we have them for adults to a point. It's about time to let our children learn that something. Women don't have to be the hero or be strong. You don't have to look like a whore.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, the one thing we could definitely say, because I want to move on here. The one thing we could definitely say in 40 years of storytelling, from Episode 4 to Forces of Destiny, regardless of who the main protagonist is or what gender they are, the one thing that could truly be said from the Star Wars universe is that it's always led the way in great storytelling. So, regardless of who the main characters are in Forces of Destiny, I have nothing but exact high hopes that we're going to get strong stories and delve deeper into the mythos of these characters. Mm-hmm. Which leads me into something else that gave great storytelling and heavy mythos. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. To us lazy Americans, the Sorcerer's Stone. The book, not the movie. Turned 20 this week. Guys, okay. The successful franchise of a book written by a woman who was sleeping in her car when she first came up with the concept and was jotting down her notes on cocktail napkins.
Right there, okay. I have to say this right now. Right there is a that's something that's worth recognition. Unlike our earlier segment, which I won't mention any names on there. See, that's somebody who deserves their recognition. It deserves everything they get at this point positive. They deserve what they make from it. They deserve rewards. They deserve everything because, like I said, she was homeless writing these books. And then this book was finally released, and all of a sudden, now look at her. She had a mega success.
And she treats her fans really well to this day.
And her tweets are hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
I will say her tweets are freaking hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, show of hands. I know Matt just walked off camera a minute. Show of hands here. How many have actually read the book? Not just the movies, but have actually read the books.
Was this really a question that I needed to answer?
Yeah, right.
Well, I knew out of everybody, you would definitely be one of the ones with your hand raised.
I think Eric said anyone didn't put his hand up. I'm pretty sure Matt has. I'm pretty sure he told me he has before. So I hope
the Harry Potter series are not one of my favorites. I enjoy them, but they're not one of my favorites.
If you go get my copy of Deathly Hallows, if you're reading through it, you can tell on any page when there's a character about to die because there's still tear marks in the paper from the first time I was reading it. They're still there.
I actually have to replace my collection.
As the 7th book was, 6 was the one that got me. I remember when I first picked up Half-Blood Prince, which was what pissed me off about the movie. Because Half-Blood Prince was my favorite book.
It had nothing to do with the book. The movie didn't.
It had nothing to do with the book.
Absolutely.
The reason of being, and spoiler alert, we'll flash that up. Spoiler alert for anybody who has never read the book or at least even seen the movie of Half-Blood Prince. I remember 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm soaking in a bathtub. My girl is dead to the world, that I was dating at the time, is dead to the world asleep, and I reached the part where Dumbledore dies.
Oh.
And I woke my girlfriend up out of a sound sleep because he was out of the bathroom. What the F? No way! I had to reread it. I couldn't believe it. It was like the "I am your father" moment to me in the Harry Potter thing.
I will say my copies I used to have, unfortunately, when I had I had a major situation last year, and I did lose quite a bit of stuff in the process. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go into detail, but one of the things I lost was my complete collection of hardbound Harry Potter. Like, my entire collection is gone. But those books were very well loved, to say the least. Like, actually, my Sorcerer's Stone, the binding was starting to pop on it. I've read it so many times. Like, like when you got a book, you just read it so much, the binding just starts to pop and break in some places. Yeah. And just the pages were bent. Like, I didn't care because I read it and I would read it again. To me, that's a well-loved book. That's not a beaten book. That's a well-loved book because you've read it enough times where you've actually worn the pages out of it.
Yeah. Right.
So one day I hope to replace my collection. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'm really hoping soon because I would love to read them again, especially now it's the 20th anniversary. If anyone wants to make a donation.
Yeah, I know. I've actually read those books like 3 times, the whole series back to back.
Fourth Wall is now setting up a GoFundMe page for Christina's Harry Potter books.
Okay.
Help me love my books again, please. Because if you knew the situation, you'd probably feel really bad. But
yeah, actually, talking about the Half-Blood Prince, you're not the only person I know that had that reaction. One of my friends, they were telling me that his wife was reading it and laying next to him in bed, and all of a sudden she starts weeping like uncontrollably, like crying. Holding the book, and he's describing this. He goes, "Dude, I was out cold," and all of a sudden I hear, and it's like he goes like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And she's like, "He's dead. He's dead." And I'm like, and he was like, "Who said? What are we talking about? What's going on?" And she's like, "Dumbledore." And I'm like sitting there, and when I'm hearing this story, I'm laughing because I know what she's talking about. When I read it, I was like, "Oh, that's." You can
watch it.
I know. Christina, I'm thinking.
One more. The next person drops a bomb gets to edit the video.
Uh-oh.
Why do I have a feeling it's going to be me?
I say this is book.
It's always you.
Actually, you're exempt because I don't want watermarks on the video.
Oh, burn. No, but
yeah, you want to mess with me? I can hit harder. Remember that.
But when I read that,
you can't hit harder, but you can definitely hit. I'll give you that much.
When I read that part, I was actually on my way to bed. I was like, I read the rest of the book. I put the book down, and I sat in the living room, and I was just sitting there going, "This is messed up, yo." I mean, I wasn't like all emotionally invested in it, but I felt it. I was like, I put the book down, and then the next book came out, and I was like, I just looked at it for a while. I was like, do I want to crack the spine on this? And then everybody came with their fan theories. Oh, he's not dead. He's not dead. I was like, people, he's dead. Except
see the fan theory of book 7. When I pre-ordered my copy of book 7, they were doing the little thing at Borders Books. They were doing the little thing when you pre-ordered it. You got to vote on whether you trusted Snape or you hated Snape because of the whole Dumbledore thing. I was actually right. I trusted Snape. I believed that Snape was double agent.
Right. Yeah.
And I turned out to be right.
Snape
but I remember cracking open the 7th book. Because I heard those rumors about Dumbledore not really being dead. I remember cracking open the book and kind of playing off of what Brian said. I mean, it started right off the bat. You know, I mean, I was blown away. They killed the freaking owl. Hedwig was killed in the first chapter.
That upset me more than Dumbledore. I'm like, no.
Honestly, I will say I think I was more upset that Hedwig was killed than.
Me too.
I have like this real animal empathy though, and yeah, I get really upset really quick when animals get killed, especially such an awesome. Especially Matt will tell you that I have an affinity to owls. I love owls. Owls are like my soul animal, and I was all tore up the one day. This was like what, 2 years ago, year before last. Yeah, I was driving to work one day back when I had my car before I had the one now. I had a Hyundai Elantra. And I'm driving to work and I hear this doof, and I see something roll off the front bumper. I'm like, what was that? I turn around and there's this field owl that flew right in front of my car. It must have zoned in on a mouse or something. Flew in front of my car, hit off my bumper, and was dead. I was tore up for like 3 days over this damn owl. And the first thing I said, too, because I was trying to like get myself feeling better, I'm like, damn it, some poor kid's not going to get his letter to Hogwarts now.
Yeah, we went there.
I'll tell you what, we're talking about book 7 here, even though we're paying tribute to book 1. Book 7, I gotta say 2 things. One, the part that really tugged my heartstrings, really out of all of it, was the death of Fred.
Oh,
yes.
Oh my God! Yes.
Can we not talk about that, please?
That killed me more than Haywood and Dumbledore.
Please,
combined.
I beg you.
More than both of them combined.
Because I really
However, the one part we were just talking about it in the last part here, the last story we were talking about, Harry Potter, even in the book, gave a strong female lead. No, I'm not talking about Hermione. I'm talking about
Professor
Mrs. Weasley and her battle with Bellatrix.
Oh yeah, you're right.
My daughter, you bitch.
Well, even McGonagall. Look at McGonagall in the
scene.
In the Deathly Hallows. McGonagall turned into a very strong character in there too.
Oh hell yeah!
Already a strong character. Paid attention. She really was.
Yeah, she was actually insanely strong. I mean, especially for how old she was.
And the woman, forgive me, I can't think of her name right now, who played McGonagall.
Dame Maggie.
Maggie. She was fighting cancer when they filmed the last movie.
Yeah.
She had cancer. She was fighting cancer, and she said, "No, we're doing this." And she filmed it even through everything. She still filmed that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. She is an amazing person.
But
I will tell you, the Harry Potter movies were always very well casted. I mean, you never get any better than Maggie Smith as McGonagall, and of course, the late great Alan Rickman as Professor Snape.
And and Robbie, and what's his name? Robbie as Hagrid.
Even though she didn't look like the character as described in the books, I don't think I've ever hated a character. I don't think I've ever hated a character more, and it's such a credit to the actress.
I already know who you're talking about.
Helena
Bonham Carter?
No, Umbridge.
What was her name?
Umbridge. Oh, Umbridge.
Yo, am I the only one that hated her worse than freaking Voldemort?
I wanted.
No, everyone hated her more than Voldemort.
Like she had to be the most hated character in that entire book series.
I wanted
the actress did not look like what was described in the book. She didn't look like what was described in the book. However, that personality was down to a perfect T.
I
Yeah.
wanted to shoot her in the face with a potato gun. Like oh my god.
He's trying to top my Bieber.
Oh,
I think there's a three-way tie. I think there's a three-way tie in fantasydom, modern fantasydom, on who was hated more. Two of which were from Game of Thrones. That's Prince Joffrey and
Ramsay Bolton.
But I would put those two against Professor Umbridge any day.
I still think Umbridge takes it. I'm sorry.
I do too.
Umbridge was like the most like it was that one character like as like it was like a mix up of every like crappy teacher you've ever had in your life. Plus some.
Nothing you could have done to her in that last book would have been good enough. Like nothing would have been good enough. Avada Kedavra. No, she deserved more than that. Come on. You know, like,
I was still pissed off in book 7 when I discovered she didn't die. That the centaurs in the forest.
Yeah, right.
Didn't
kill
her.
I wanted them to stomp her out. I really did.
Yeah, I was so mad.
And you know what? And even then, that wouldn't have been good enough for me. Like, dismemberment's not even good enough for me for her. Like, I hate that woman. She's not even real. And I have this, like, pit in my soul. This, like, seething dark spot in my soul that says Umbridge's name on it. And underneath it, there's bleeding marks that says, I cannot tell a lie. Like, I shouldn't tell lies. And I'm bleeding there. And it's... I mustn't tell lies. That's what it was. I mustn't tell. Like, that's carved on my soul because of her. Like, you know what? I had a teacher that was just like her.
We all had a teacher like her.
I know. I mean, like, I really wanted. I had contemplated. I'm probably going to jail for this. I contemplated cutting her brake lines. Like,
I'll beep the whole thing. That just got beeped out.
It's all right, Brian. Just don't drop the soap, okay?
I had a 6th grade teacher out here in Philadelphia, that math teacher that, like, he called my mother a whore one time. I picked up a desk and threw it at him.
Was this Mr. Coyne?
No. Mr. Katzen.
Okay, no, I had one like that, a math teacher named Mr. Coyne in Catholic school, and that dude was... I remember I was trying to get my stuff at my desk in the beginning of class and everything. My calculator was still out. He walks up to my desk. He's like, "Why is all this stuff in your desk?" I'm like, "I'm putting it in my desk." He picks up my calculator and slams it on the floor and breaks it.
Well, right after I got back from Colorado, at the time I was still a professional wrestler. I was walking through my old neighborhood when I came back to Philly from Colorado, and I wound up running into Mr. Katzen going to his car. This was sweet satisfaction because Mr. Katzen, he called my mother a whore in class. He told me I was never going to amount to nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I saw him, and he still looked the same, a little grayer, but he still looked the same. And I called out, "Mr. Katzen!" And he looks up and he says, "Who are you?" And I explained who I was and all. And he said, "Oh, my God, And he tried to strike up a conversation. "So what are you doing with yourself now?" You know how much satisfaction I had to turn around and tell him, "Oh, I'm a professional wrestler." And he turned, beat white, and said, "Oh, I gotta go," and got in his car and hauled.
You were about to sidewalk slam him, weren't you?
I wanted to. I'm not gonna lie.
You should have given a pile driver.
I wanted to totally bomb his ass through a table.
This is the detention elbow.
I call this move the ruler. Crack.
This is the hall pass.
Much love to the Harry Potter series. Congratulations, happy 20th. Let's move on to something else that may trigger me the way Justin Bieber triggered Matt Cruz.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yay!
I discovered a couple hours ago that the stupidest invention, which by the way I gave mine to my girlfriend's mother.
Spinner.
Stupidest fidget spinner.
The stupidest invention known to humankind has now become not only a phone game, but computer game that is free for download. Fidget Spinner I.O.
Ah!
Really?
What?
Fidget Spinner I.O. is now where you take the fidget spinner and move it around a field, multiplayer no less, collecting up little point balls. And the more balls you get, the stronger you are. And you kind of bumper car with other fidget spinners to not die and collect the most of the balls.
Okay, so essentially they took Slither.io, which is actually kind of a fun game, where you play a snake and you run around, you grab all these like orbs, and you get bigger and bigger, kind of like the old Nokia game, but you gotta stay away from the other snakes. And they just did like a knockoff version and called it Spinner.io.
Yes.
That's the dumbest.
That's lame.
I don't want to say it, but I can't think of another word to say.
Poop.
Poop.
Brown chocolatey mess out of my rectum.
They have a. You might want to see a doctor if it's chocolately.
How do you know it's chocolatey?
Because my dog enjoys it.
I don't think the dog would enjoy it.
I don't have a dog, so that was.
I think I just threw up in my mouth.
Guys, has this trend gone too far already?
Yes.
It was created, so yeah.
I like my spinner and all, but I use it when I'm bored. When and it glows in the dark, so it's entertaining. It's entertaining when it's, I'm like, oh look, it's spinning in its dark. Ooh, look, and then I put it away.
I mean, here's the thing, okay? Yeah, I have one as well. I'm not gonna lie, I have it right here, in fact. But, however, okay, here's the thing. Once again, it's something where if I have severe anxiety, I have PTSD, I have panic attacks. It does actually do something for me. Not as much as the cube does, but in a pinch, it gives me something where I could try to take my mind off of my anxiety attack. Meanwhile, this right here, people may talk, like, which is faded into obscurity already. This is the real lifesaver for anxiety. Because it gives you several different activities you can do to take your mind off of your anxiety if you're starting to have an attack. So yes, I do see them for that purpose, but yeah, that's gone too far because it loses the whole... Look at Matt's face. But you lose the whole... The problem is when you start getting into the apps with all that stuff, you completely lose the purpose of the spinner. It's something you can use your hands. You can go like this, and you feel the vibration in your hands. You feel the spin. You feel the air coming off of it. It's...
Yeah, but you know what? The whole entire purpose of this fidget spinner, let's be honest, the whole entire purpose of it is to give you something to focus on to take off your stress and anxiety. Whatever happened to just focusing on things that you enjoy to help reduce stress? Read a book, start a podcast, play music, write a book. Watch a movie.
When somebody's having an anxiety attack, they can't focus on reading a book or doing a podcast.
Yeah, you got to do something really simple.
You found outlets to express whatever it is.
Here's the thing you got to realize. When somebody's having an anxiety attack, from speaking as somebody who has anxiety, when you're speaking with somebody with anxiety, it's to take it when you start going down that road into a full-blown anxiety attack. You don't have a whole lot of focus to take yourself off of it because you're like all of a sudden you got blinders on and you're going right down the tunnel. Something simple like this right here or a spinner is enough where it's not really heavily focused where you're sitting there and you have to try to like deal with it like recording a podcast. Matt's seen me when I have a full-on anxiety attack. I can't even speak. I can't even talk when I have an anxiety attack. So the fact that, something like this, I can actually, it's simple enough where I can mess with it and try to bring myself at least to a plane where I can somewhat function again. So, because I have high operational anxiety. I can operate with my anxiety most of the time, but, high functional. I'm high functional.
High functional.
So, yeah, I can function most of the time with anxiety. My level of anxiety for functioning would paralyze most people. I'm not even going to lie. Just same as most people with PTSD. So, yeah, something like this is a godsend to me. I mean, this is, what, $5 for a knockoff one? This is an actual one, which was like $10 at Walmart. It's a godsend. Because it helps me out a lot of times. While, an app like that has absolutely no use. What are you going to do when you burn your battery dead playing with that thing? Then you're screwed.
Well... Brian and Eric, who's been the quietest ones here, I'm going to get to you guys here. I'm going to ask you, because I stand on the opposite end of the coin of Christina and Matt. Being a person who has dealt with stress in many different angles, in very similar ways to them in certain situations, I found other outlets. So to me, I feel that the app, and this is the question I'm going to pose to you guys, I feel that the app has exposed what the fidget spinner really was. It was not an actual stress reducer, but simply a toy trend made to market and make money.
A gimmick.
Do you guys agree or disagree on that?
That's exactly, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Pretty much.
If it was supposed to be this literally like a fidget device for people with anxiety, you wouldn't see the damn things on every shelf, on every store, everywhere you go, different designs of them. You wouldn't see them in the toy section at Walmart. You wouldn't see them, it would be something that you would have to search out to find. Hey, I heard about this thing called a fidget spinner, helps with anxiety. I need to look into this. You would have to find one, get it, and then it would help. Okay, I get it. I don't discount what Christina's saying at all.
Oh, no.
And I completely, and I'm not saying you are. I completely, but I believe her 100%. She knows what it's like. I don't. If it helps, it helps. But it's not marketed as something that helps people with anxiety. It's marketed as a trend and as a toy. Is really all it is. And I mean, you see all these videos on YouTube of people playing with them and people chipping their teeth on them. I've seen that. Some guy sharpened the edge of it down to razor blades, cut his hand open. Like, it's just, they're breaking apart. Like, there was even a story I saw on Facebook last week of a woman playing with one, and it broke, and it hit her kid in the lip and cut his lip open.
There's kids that have died from it, from the counterbalance circle.
Yeah, the one with the blade. It was the one with the blades. It snapped off. And it went right into the person's throat.
Yeah, it's not marketed.
I think where a 9-year-old swallowed one of the counterbalanced weights.
Yeah.
Well, they're all the counterbalanced weights are. Most of them is just bearings.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with them.
It's not marketed as what it's supposed to be marketed as.
I mean, I work for. I'm not going to say the name of the company because I'm not allowed to. And that's actually from the company itself. No, I work for a large. I'll just say I work for a large internet distributor. Okay, and one of the jobs I do, I use, a lot of people do, but one of the biggest things we deal with right now are these fidget spinners, and they all come from the exact same place, from China, and I think that's a lot of where these breakdown problems are happening, because they're cheaply produced. I mean, they just mass produce these things in any shape that can sell. I mean, one of my jobs I do what they call Cubiscan. I'm not going to go into a rant about it. I promise. People have already. But if you want, you got to watch After Hours. You want to hear my rant on my job doing Cubiscan. There, how's that for a plug?
By the way, good promotional segue. Should be releasing this week, is it not?
By the end of once we're done burning through War of the Stars this week and the other shows we got to record, we should be able to start it.
All right.
And Death Star Radio
keep an eye out for that
Star Wars Canon Library, possibly, if you have any bloopers there, Brian. Send them to me.
Yeah, I'll let
Send
you know.
them to me. Anyway, but I mean, every day when I'm doing Cubiscan, I will be amiss if I don't have to measure anywhere between 10 to 30, 40 of these damn things because they're a different shape or a different color. They're all the exact same box. Like 90% of these things, actually, they come in 2 different boxes mostly. One's a metal tin. The other one is this white box with the black squares on it, which we've seen everywhere. So these companies, these are all coming from the same company, and they are pushing these things out like crazy. I will say that. I mean, why it does have medicinal, like I said, it does have some use. I prefer this, once again, which is the fidget cube, over any day over a spinner. I can deal without the spinner. I bought the spinner because it was $5 at Five Below, and I was like, something, let me try it. This right here, though, this is my true savior. If I could carry this in work with me and not be accused of stealing it every single time I walked out, I would have this thing on me all the time. This travels with me everywhere. This is in my purse.
See, the cube makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, it's got like a combination with a push ball. It's got a switch. It's got 5 little buttons. It's got like a joystick controller, and it's got like a little dial.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
that does. That makes a lot more sense.
That is marketed towards people with anxiety. That's exactly.
But it's not. But it's not. That's the problem.
But it's not marketed. But it's
we're talking about the cube.
It's made for it, but it's not marketed that way.
Actually, no, the cube is
for actual help. If it was marketed for actual help, you wouldn't find it in every toy store and every Five Below, or you would find it at
Chris,
or
you're not talking about the spinners. We're talking about the cube right now, and the cube is a lot harder to find.
I'm talking about both of them.
The cube, you don't see them in every store. The cube, I got lucky and found one in Walmart one day. Okay, you only had a very small amount of them, but before that, the only way you could really get them is ordering them online and stuff along those lines.
I was at Barnes & Noble last Saturday, and they had them at the counter right there.
They got them at Best Buy, too.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Barnes & Nobles?
Yeah, there's one up north in Christiana.
Huh. Yeah, there's a Barnes & Noble in Wichita I always go to.
But in all honesty...
Yeah, I hide bookmarks in there.
One of the reasons these are so wide...
The fidget box or the fidget spinner, I think if they were really marketed... Now, I'm not saying that they don't... That their intended purpose wasn't to be stress relievers.
Right.
What I'm saying is they were not marketed to be stress relievers. They were marketed to be trendy toys.
Okay.
Because if they were meant to be... exactly as they are medicinal aids, they would have been sold at places that deal that deal.
Let me explain something about the fidget cube. Okay, you have a little bit of misinformation. When this was kickstarted back a couple years ago, Matt, or last year. This was kickstarted last year. Okay, when it was kickstarted as an anxiety aid, which is exactly what it was being marketed for by this company. The one that made this one. This is the Kickstarter company that made it. That's why I bought this one, because I want to support that company. Now, what happened was they started building up the funds for the Kickstarter, and it was obviously a success. The Chinese stole the designs for it and made their own. And even before this was released under the Kickstarter, the Chinese flooded the market with this thing as a toy. And that's where the problem comes, and this is why there's misinformation. This is the hardest one to find. This is actually marketed as an anxiety tool, whilst all the knockoff ones you find, all the Chinese knockoff ones, are not. And that's where the problem falls. The problem was the guy's design got ripped off by China.
What were you going to ask?
I was initially going to ask what the history was, if it did actually start out as an anxiety aid and then got picked up and marketed on a mainstream as a toy.
Well, I think it's funny because segment 2 is normally our rant thing, but right now we've been going through our news for the week, and it's pretty much been rants in the news. But on this segment, specifically the fidget spinners and the fidget spinner games that have now been released, I want to know your guys' opinion. So please leave comments down below. We want to know what you guys think. Was this a good idea? Was it a shared idea of some of the panelists here, where it's just a toy and a trend? Basically, to me, it's like the new Slinky is the best way I can describe it.
Except Slinkies are cooler.
Slinky, Slinky.
Oh, no, I just got told that we're about to end our segment 2 here. I want to get into one last thing, which means we're going to hold off on our other. Sorry, Eric, you had something for bring back favorite TV shows. We'll save that for next week. I also wanted to touch base on the Who Framed Roger Rabbit versus its original book. But the last segment I want to get here real quick, really, it's going to be on Christen.
It is.
Who has finally completed season 5 of Arrow. And I wanted to get her review of the final episode of season 5.
Oh, God. It's just cruel. Like, you can't stop it there. No.
Well, before we let her get into it, and everybody has seen season 5. They're caught up on Arrow.
No,
not Arrow.
I fell out of it in the middle of 3rd season.
I'm behind about a season and a half myself. I just haven't had a chance to get caught up. All these great shows hit at one time, and I haven't had a chance to catch up.
You say goodbye to your social life and hit Netflix.
I don't have a social life anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
My wife and I are watching Arrow together. That's like actually become our show. So.
I'm watching Supernatural right now, so.
I can only watch so much of Supernatural, and then I get scared.
I'm in the middle of season 12 right now, so.
Well, Christen, with all thoughts of non-spoiler for the people that have not completed it yet, we will give a review of it spoiler when everybody has caught up to it.
Okay.
So if you're interested in what's to be said, check out Realm of the Mist. We'll have a spoiler video up soon. Non-spoiler wise, Christen, was I wrong on how they ended that episode?
You were not wrong.
How pissed off were you?
I wasn't pissed off. Yeah, I don't know that I was the thing that really pissed me off about season 5 were the changes that happened because of Flashpoint. That made me mad. But yeah, the ending, the final episode was, I thought it was well done. I didn't like where it ended. I thought the whole season was actually better than the 4th season. I liked it's 5, right? That's the one we're on?
Yeah.
I liked it much better than I did season 4. I think they were kind of going back to some formulas that worked a little bit better. I also used to watch Spartacus, and I love that there are 3 actors that were in that series that were all in the final episode, and there was this fantastic little interaction that I felt like was a shout out to it. So I really enjoyed that. But the ending, I can't even go into it because they're not caught up.
That's why at this point we'll go ahead and take our second break for RadioCast FM. When we come back, we'll have our movies of the week. So stick around.
Start. Go.
Welcome back to Breaking the Fourth Wall, where we just got done whipping out our lightsabers. This is the part of the show I'm sorry we didn't get into our rant, but let's face it, this whole entire episode was a rant. So before I get into our movie picks of the week, the biggest thing I want to do is I want to talk about Realm of the Mist and some of the productions that we've come out with and are coming out with as of late. First and foremost, we know Canon Library is coming back for its season 3. So we're happy to have Brian Miller back, bringing back his Star Wars Canon Library, and looking forward to some content with him.
Finally.
This Saturday, Gaming XP with Matt Cruz releases its first ever episode, which has been recorded. Make sure you check that out. Let us know what you guys think of it.
The DM.
Also, Christina and myself have launched a new show on Realm of the Mist called Press A Gaming, which is a video game walkthroughs. It will be conducted by anybody who wishes to start their own playthrough of a video game. Right now, Christina is running, what was it called?
Horizon Zero Dawn on PlayStation 4.
Horizon Zero Dawn on PS4. I myself, through the Xbox One, am starting Fallout New Vegas from the 360. And also, Christen, as soon as she can figure it out, wants to do a playthrough of Star Wars The Old Republic PC game. So
that's my jam.
In the multiplayer style games, keep an eye out. In the multiplayer style games, there is very good possibilities that you will have special guests of other panelists playing along with whoever may be producing that show at that time.
Battlefront.
Checking out for that.
Battlefront. Yeah, incidentally, I own Battlefront on PC, Xbox One, and on PS4. So.
Well, Eric and myself own the Xbox One version, so we could play with you on that.
And Mario and Brian are on PS4, so guess what? We can make something work.
Yeah, we can.
That's it. We could have a battle between PS4 and Xbox One, which is the better Battlefront.
Going down.
Ooh, there's a show idea.
Console battles. Console battles.
And then, speaking of show ideas, as discussed with the panel today, I'm proud to announce that we will be putting together a brand new panel show starring a very good friend of mine from Colorado. He will put together his panel. We will give you more details, but we have a music podcast coming very, very soon. Stick around. You will get that announcement as well as the show's official title. But before I finish out, let's also remember and give kudos and props to that trans geek girl has been blowing up, specifically on Realm of the Mist. Right now, its latest episode is up to 52 views.
52 views on my channel, 20-something on Realm of the Mist channel. And it was only released on Monday. So at this point, on Tuesday, we're recording. It's been released for a little over 24 hours.
And of course, the shining star, War of the Stars, episode 4 has been blowing up majorly. Where we had guest star. Who was the guest star again?
Alan Shea.
Alan Shea of. What was the channel? I'm drawing blank here. Which makes me feel bad because he was an awesome dude and I love the fact that he was on the show.
Generation Tech. I had a brain
Thank
fart.
you, Generation Tech, on YouTube. Make sure you go check out his channel as well. But because of him, special guesting, and of course the great talent that we have on War of the Stars, hosted by Mark Tolley, has been blowing up, well over 100 views and growing. So, guys, thank you very much for the love. We truly, truly appreciate it. Without you guys, there would be no Realm of the Mist or any of the shows. Let's get into our movie picks of the week. This week, I thought because of the one of the rants that we were supposed to get into, finding out that Roger Rabbit was actually loosely based on a book, a very different book. It made me start thinking about live-action movies where the actors acted alongside cell animated characters. So our movie picks of the week is live-action movies with acted alongside with animation. And to be clarified for the people listening, animation is cell animation, hand-drawn animation, not CGI. Brian, we'll start with you. What's your movie pick of the week?
I'm going with 1992's Cool World, starring Brad Pitt. I remember even though I was like 5, my mom still let me watch that movie. Still can't figure that out to this day why she did, but growing up, like even as a 5-year-old, I was like, that movie is awesome. It was, when I was a kid, I just wanted to see anything that had live action stuff with cartoons, and it was really cool. It's one I grew up with, surprisingly, probably explains a lot why it turned out the way I did. But I mean, that movie was freaking awesome. The only gripe I had about it was Kim Basinger looked nothing like the cartoon they had of Hollywood, and it just looked like nothing like her. But other than that, man, that movie's awesome. I actually haven't watched it in like 20 years, so I probably need to go back and watch it again. But I love that movie. Awesome movie.
Christen, your choice of the week.
I'm going with something wholesome. I'm going with Mary Poppins. But part of that is it was my dad's favorite Disney movie, and so that's, a little shout out to him. So, also, Mary Poppins is awesome, and Dick Van Dyke is super fantastic.
How much are you looking forward to the fact that Disney is actually creating a sequel to Mary Poppins?
Uh-oh.
That just said it right there.
No more rants this show.
Yeah.
Save it for next show.
I have self-control. That's not something that would send me into a rant. No, but that's not something that would send me into a rant. We have yet to figure out what would send me into a rant.
We'll get there.
We'll figure it out. I guarantee that.
Oh, yes. You're our next target.
Oh,
Actually,
God.
I forgot Brian on a rant yet either. Really.
Oh, not yet.
We did
was
get
borderline on a few things.
urinal cakes and where the faucets are, but we never got him into a rant.
You guys will figure it out.
It's the Kansas people.
Just get me on Heir to the Jedi, and I will go for hours.
Okay.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah. We did have a little taste in the Heir to the Jedi.
Ooh.
Eric, your movie choice of the week.
I'm going to go with a flick from 1945, Anchors Away, featuring Gene Kelly, Frank Sinatra, Katherine Grayson, and two cartoon characters, Tom and Jerry.
You see how riveted he is.
Yeah, right?
Christina, your choice for the week.
I'm going to go with Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I know you gave this look like, whatever. It's actually a fun movie. It's Canadian, so you have to excuse some things. But, I mean,
Sarah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, this movie itself is quite entertaining. It's very unique, especially in an age of, like, the same storyline rehashed over and over again. And it's just... I just love the movie. I'm not going to lie. I've seen it multiple times. I love that movie, so that's my pick.
Matt, your choice.
My choice has to be Bedknobs and Broomsticks from 1971, starring the lovely Angela Lansbury. Everyone who grew up with Beauty and the Beast, I remember her as Mrs. Pot, the voice of Mrs. Potts. And also starring opposite her, David Tomlinson. He was the Mr. Banks in Mary Poppins. It's one of those. It was one of those old classics that actually got me into a few other things as I got older. But it was one of the ones that always stuck out in my mind.
Were they legal or illegal?
We're not going to get into that right now.
All right. right, my choice for a movie this week was the Don Knotts classic 1964, The Incredible Mr. Limpet. The story of a everyman who was kind of a loner, down on his luck during the time of World War II. All he cared about was his fish. He wished one day to become a fish, and he wound up becoming an animated fish, who in turn wound up helping the United States Navy finding German submarines. A classic comedy movie, had a lot of heart to it. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's definitely one of Don Knotts' best work.
And he had lips that could rival Angelina Jolie's in that. Like the fish.
The lips. Lips.
The fish lips.
Well, you ever seen Angelina Jolie drawn as a fish, like in Shark Tale?
Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
Oscar.
So, yeah, those lips are very comparable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good call. Damn.
Brian, where can they find you if they want to get in contact with you?
You guys can find me right here on YouTube at the... Well, hang on. It's been a minute. Star Wars Canon Library. I forgot the name of my channel for a second. You guys can find me at the Star Wars Canon Library, where I keep all the canon material in chronological order. Make sure to check out the website, www.starwarscanonlibrary.com. You can also find me on War of the Stars, starting this week again. Finally, I'm back. Missed you guys. I'm so glad to be back. So you guys can find me there.
Also here on Breaking the Fourth Wall and Realm of the Mist Entertainment in general. So, Christina, where can they find you?
All right, you can find me on my YouTube channel, which is That Trans Geek Girl, where we publish all things geek. That's going to be our little slogan once I work it out the bugs. Also, you can find me on this show whenever we air now, Saturday. Every Saturday on Radiocast and on YouTube. You could also find me on Press A Gaming, running through Horizon Zero Dawn. And you could also find me on War of the Stars as well. And God knows what else I'm going to pop up in now and then.
That is true. I do have to add that in the Realm of the Mist news. I did forget that. It has been officially announced that she is the third official co-host of War of the Stars. Fourth. Because Mark is the host. And then, of course, you have Brian Miller, Mario Hernandez Jr., and now Christina Talley as the official panel of War of the Stars. So, congratulations to being on one of the hit shows for Realm of the Mist. Christen, where can they find you?
They can find me right here on Breaking the Fourth Wall with Realm of the Mist. They can find me on Facebook on my book fan page, Song of Souls Trilogy. Just type that in. You can find me on Twitter, and occasionally you can find me on the Radiocast show, America's Pop Culture Magazine. You can find me on Radiocast FM for this show as well. And there's another thing, but I'm blanking on it, so we're just going to stick with that.
I think the other thing is that you are set up to become part of the Press A Gaming.
Yes, once I figure out how to work Twitch and all the streaming stuff.
Because they refuse to make it easy like they used to.
That's it.
Like, just push one button. That's what I want. I just want to press A.
To start.
Yeah.
Matt Cruz.
You can find me here on Realm of the Mist on Breaking the Fourth Wall. You can find me sometimes on Star Wars Podcast, because I've been known to bounce between that and this.
What's Star Wars Podcast?
Yeah, we got 3 of them.
War of the Stars. Okay, that's the only one I've been on so far. You can see me sometimes on That Trans Geek Girl, but you can find me on my show on Gaming XP, which will be releasing this Saturday. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't wait to run you guys through some more adventures. I DM on that show, and you can find me on Facebook on Matthew Cruz with two T's. You can email me at foxc77@gmail.com, and you can tell me what you like, what you don't like, how I can improve the show, or whatever else. So you just want to chat.
More ranting. More ranting.
Well, and actually, we're trying to talk Matt into. Incidentally, we are trying to talk Matt into doing a rant show. So hopefully that comes down the pipe soon.
Hey, you never know.
You gotta add sound effects.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Eric, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Eric J. Batista Sr. And I'm also on the Xbox One at Smoke1437. And also I'm on Realm of the Mist, Breaking the Fourth Wall.
Now I remember.
And possibly Eric may join us on Press A Gaming as well, so keep an eye out.
Christen remembers what she was trying to remember before.
Okay, what is it?
You can find me on Star Wars The Old Republic under Inari Soon, and also on Goodreads.
There you go.
Excellent.
And if you even want to talk to me, which most of you don't, I can be found on Facebook at Christopher Michael Stolley, ChrisWild77 on Twitter. Twitch, it's Wild High 77, which is also my gamer tag name for Press A Gaming. You can always find me on Breaking the Fourth Wall, Raise the Underground here on RadioCastFM.com on Monday nights. I guest on most of the shows on Realm of the Mist, so check out one of them. You'll probably find me on there at least once. That's it, guys. I hope you all have a great week. I want to thank my panel for hanging out with me today. And especially I want to give a special extra thank you to Justin Bieber, who gave us a show today.
This show is brought to you by the letter J for Justin, and B for Bieber, and S for sucks ass.
I want to thank Justin Bieber because thanks to him being born, he made a believer out of me.
No.
Are you trying to get me in the last 5 seconds of the show?
You know, we can't disconnect this call if he keeps going.
Let me finish. He made a believer out of me by watching the 15-minute or so rant of Matt Cruz ripping Justin Bieber, a brand new Canadian maple syrup dripping asshole that he truly deserves. Thank you.
Why are you gonna ruin freaking maple syrup like that? Thanks.
Oh, can you imagine what that would feel like? Oh,
sticky.
And this is what we end the show on. Wonderful.
On a syrupy note? Oh.
Can you imagine what that feels like? Ah.
Be such a sticky situation.
Oh.
That's not the first time a panel member of Breaking the Fourth Walls had a sticky situation, right, Spider-Man?
Oh,
Christina,
God.
you need to hit that stop recording button.
Say what?
I do not. I do need no such thing.
On that mental image, we all have to go find a urinal cake and wash the taste out of it.
Y'all have a good one.
Bye.